Okay, so in Chapter 17, of course, it's going to start out with the Columbian Exchange and how the world itself, of course, was changed by all the crops and of course, disease, but people who are going back and forth from one side of the world to the other. So take a look at that and see again yet how that changes. And you can see again on the chronology how you're basically splitting up the Americas into four major areas. Spanish America, of course, which is almost all of South America from Mexico down, except for Brazil, because of course, the Treaty of Las Casas. Not Las Casas, Treaty of Tordesillas. British North America and French North America will again be in the second half of the chapter. So what you want to take a look at is how do they start this whole society all over again? What role, especially, does the church play in making everybody a Catholic? It's amazing how this all works. What role does the government play in setting all this up? And so you look at the map on page 436 and pay attention to how they've broken up the different areas of South America, Viceroyalties of Brazil, La Plata, etc. See how those have been separated and governed in different ways, and especially how the economy works. Of course, this is where slavery is going to really get started. We're so used to thinking about slavery in the United States, but really the slave economies, the encomiendas, which we're going to talk about, and South America is just awful in so many different ways, especially on the islands of the Caribbean. And so you look at how this new society that gets set up, how they base it on race in so many different ways, how the color of your skin and really your blood makes such a big difference. So look at the hidalgos and how that all works, the difference between free blacks and slaves, of course. It's just amazing how an entirely new society is made up. And then, of course, you get to North America, again, where you're seeing people moving in, starting new worlds. The early English, of course, settling on the eastern seaboard in the south. In New England later, of course, you've all heard the story of the Pilgrims and the Puritans. Really, the origins of what will later become the United States of America is what you're reading in these pages. So see how that gets started. How they get along with the Indians here is very different with the Indians in South America, again, because the Indians are actually there and have a vital, vibrant civilization. And then, of course, the Middle Atlantic region, which, of course, is the areas of Pennsylvania, New York, Maryland, etc. Look at French North America, which, of course, will change so dramatically in 1803. But really, the French do something very, very different from the other two. If I were a Native American, by far the French would be my preferred conqueror of choice, if I can use that word there. And then the very end of the chapter starts to get into some of the reforms. You know, revolution, reaction, reform. How do they reform society, making it work to get it as efficient as possible? So that's pretty much the entire chapter, and we'll be going over it on Tuesday. So hope you're having a nice weekend.